Well, very good afternoon, everyone. My name's Floyd. I am a Public Engagement Manager at the new Wellcome Centre at the University of Dundee. I'm going to confess now that this is a sneaky double-hander, so my colleague Suze Farrell will also be joining us towards the end of the presentation. And I thought I would introduce you not just to the Centre for Anti-Infectives Research, which we generally are officially, but we are also the Wellcome Centre for Infecting Research. I was really interested listening to your talk. We're both doing very similar things, but from a very different starting point. You guys from the kind of hardcore data science, and we're very much public engagement with research angle, or at least I am. So the Wellcome Centre itself is a conglomeration of the Drug Discovery Unit at the University of Dundee, which has been running for the last 12 years, some of the mode of action teams, and some of the parasitology teams. And they are working to develop novel molecules to treat neglected tropical diseases. So at the moment we're working on visceral leishmaniasis, Chagas disease, there's some work going to be happening on cryptosporidium. We do also have a molecule going into trials for malaria, which we had a Nature paper on last year. So this idea of art infecting research is something that we're having a lot of fun with in Dundee. And I want to ask, how many of you guys, by show of hands, have been to Dundee? Nice and high, please. Shocking, really interesting. I suspected that would happen. So I thought I'd give you a little context. So we have around about 150,000 people in Dundee, similar to Kensington and Chelsea. A different demographic, a really interesting demographic. I'm not from Dundee originally, I am new to it. It's been a surprise. So we have two universities, University of Dundee and Abertay. We were recently ranked the most influential pharmaceuticals research institution for the last 10 years. So sorry, Cambridge, London, MIT, whatever. We do some really interesting work. That made the Tayside BBC front page, not BBC Science. Very interesting, really interesting. We're also a place undergoing a lot of change. So we're about 10 years into a 30-year redevelopment of our waterfront, which is going to look really amazing, I think. And as a university, we also have a really strong focus on public engagement. So the School of Life Sciences was recently awarded the National Coordinating Centre for Public Engagement's Gold Award. It's the top-rated faculty in the UK for public engagement. And we have a particular focus on innovative art and science projects. And that's just a little bit of a view of Dundee. It's a really pretty city. Absolutely stunning. And we have, you can see there, our new V&A, which will be opening mid-September. It's going to be super awesome, I think. And that's a bit of an idea of some of the redevelopment that's going to happen, reconnecting the city to its river, which it was separated from in the 60s and 70s. So one of the most interesting projects that we have is Life Space. Within the School of Life Sciences, we have a research art gallery. It's co-curated between us and Duncan of Jordanstone College of Art and Design, or DJCAD. And we work very closely with Dr. Sarah Cook, who's an art researcher, to curate and create new pieces of artwork. So these are some of the types of shows that we have. At the moment, we have a piece in exploring dementia, which has been developed with Imperial College London and some patient groups, various artists. The culture change is really fascinating. One of the pieces is a series of concrete blocks which are spread out across the space to simulate the trip hazard that someone living with dementia might have. Of course, the scientists with the kind of health and safety angle objected to the trip hazard, and when it was explained that this was part of the art, this did not go down well. But this is an idea of some of the content that we have in Life Space. Silent Signal is a really cool show which was developed again by some colleagues in London, which paired bioscience researchers with digital artists. See, some of you guys may have seen this in action. Beautiful show. And we have a very active Twitter feed for LifeSpace as well, so do follow it. Some really interesting things are happening there. So one of the things we really want to see is how our scientists are influenced by this culture of engagement with the arts. This is a bit of a rough example. So over here we can see a poster that one of our academics wanted to create for a public engagement type session, advertising one of our courses, level 2 undergraduates. Happy old people in the corner. Not good. So we decided to have a bit of an experiment, pair them up with some art expertise, get some public engagement thinking going on, and this is the other alternative we're suggesting. We'll see how it works. It's just these little bits of culture change that will make it really interesting and actually get that impact from the art on us. So So some of the other interesting things in terms of the arts that we're doing, Dundee, again, extremely unusual in having its own rec theatre company as part of the city, the Dundee Rec, world-renowned reputation. They are very, very keen on developing site-specific theatre, and we have a fabulous building. So we're going to create a piece of theatre inspired by our science content with them. So this summer, a group of 25 children aged 13 to 18 will be coming in and making theatre in our building. The scientists will be giving their inspiration. I think it's a little too much to hope for that the scientists will star in the theatre work this time, but you never know. And I have images of people on rocket packs being parasites in our central space. Well, it might take a couple of years. We're also interested in kind of working with our local communities as well. So this was an event we did pairing local food makers with our researchers. So chemists with whiskey makers, coffee brewers, working with biologists who work with cardiomyocytes that are affected by caffeine, things like that. It's interesting that today's branded as a festival. I'm from a festivals background as well, and we are trying to create that kind of feel of a festival of science in our spaces. And some other interesting highlights where we're trying to let our communities influence our research. The kind of pretty picture with the rainbow on the right is our faculty being taken over for LGBT History Month. And on the alternate side, you can see us engaging in Women in STEM Day for International Women's Day back in March. And my colleague Erin flashing her tentacles at the audience. Tentacles. Say it right every time. And these are a few of the other projects. So we are working with DC Thompson, who are a big local media company, to create a new app. So somebody's won the App Award 2 years in a row, I hear. We're going to try and be there for next year. And again, there are always challenges pairing creative games developers, for instance, with researchers. A previous life of mine, I worked with museum curators and game developers. The different languages they speak, it's a huge challenge to try and bridge, but we're hoping over the 5 years of our Wellcome funding that we can really get our researchers working with games developers. We're very fortunate to have Abertay, the other university in Dundee just down the road. They have a world-leading games development program. So we want to run game jams with them. We want to be part of Northeast of the North Festival, Neon Digital Arts Festival. So lots and lots of things are happening in Dundee. It's a really exciting time to be there. Lots of cool stuff happening. We are about 8 months into our 5-year festival funding. This is just a taster. I just wanted to let you guys know that we're here. We're open for business. We're interested in collaborations because everything we do should be a collaboration. This is a festival we're hoping to take part in, local community festival, Stobfest, in a relatively deprived part of Dundee because there's a huge town and gown divide. And we also are eventually hoping to work with communities in our disease-endemic countries. Dundee is a city which does not suffer from any neglected tropical diseases. It has many of its own issues. So that kind of story of why we're working on these things in Dundee, sharing it with the people of Dundee, connecting the people of Dundee with the people who have visceral leishmaniasis, with Chagas disease, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting space. And seeing what interesting data on impact that we can generate from that is something that the whole public engagement sector is exploring at the moment. And Wellcome Trust have put a lot of work into that too. So it's very much a watch this space. I hope you've seen something cool. I am going to hand over to my colleague Suze, who's going to tell you a little bit about one of our other projects with our communities. Run over, run over. You can share the applause, it's fine. We're aware we have a 10-minute slot.
Yeah, sorry, I only have a few slides because I don't really fit into any public engagement streams. But there's a second stream within the Wellcome Centre, and it's all about capacity building. So as Ali mentioned, we focus on scientists who work in the drug discovery field. So they are in academia, so they're different from normal career in the pharmaceutical industry. This is becoming more and more popular, but obviously with a focus on neglected tropical diseases, we want to try and help build capacity in the countries that are affected by these diseases. So we are lucky enough to have a whole stream of funding from the Wellcome, and it is to develop placements in Dundee. So I've got funding that people can come to the UK. They can spend up to a year with us in Dundee working on various aspects of the drug discovery process. So we focus on small molecules, slightly different from a lot of the African resource is going into natural products, but the concepts behind it are the same. So people can come to us and learn within reason what they need to learn. If we can support them in any way, we will. We're also hoping to sort of develop some short courses, help develop resources that people can use in their own countries, and the idea is that we will build a bigger community of drug discovery scientists. Can move on. I'm just going to show them up because I never get nice pictures, so I've got nothing to show. You follow Ali. I always try to go before Ali because, you know, he just did that. So, like I said, we've only been going for about 8 months. Ali and I started in about August, and I have spent a lot of time working out how you get people visas to come and visit the UK, which is a potentially interesting subject. So we have got, if you go forward, run. Yeah, that's where we've got trainees confirmed for 2018. So we have 5 people from Brazil. We've got 2 here already, despite the warnings that Dundee's cold in January. They all came.
It's the sunniest city in Scotland.
It also snows on them quite a lot. But they enjoyed the snow, it's fine. We've got 2 people coming from Cuba. So we've got a professor and his student coming over from Cuba in the summer once we sort out visas. And then 2 recent postdocs from Cameroon who are all coming over. Now, some of the people have come over with their own projects and we're accommodating them, and some just want to learn about the whole concept of drug discovery. Next one is where I'm potentially finding some people. So we've got some links. Now, I know that neither Turkey or South Africa are particularly lower middle income, but Turkey is, that's a separate bid that we're putting in to get funding. So we're open to actually finding more funding for people. We're supporting people with some of the MRC bids. And the South African trainee is applying for one of the African leadership programs, and it would be part of that program. She comes to us for 3 months. We're also doing some training. So we have been out to Malawi and delivered some training in the University of Malawi on chromatography, which, if you're not into chromatography, it's probably not that exciting, but there was a group of, I think, 12 people in the university who, the academic came back and said he'd had more questions in a week than he'd had in about 6 years of training master's students in Glasgow. So very, very keen, very, very, the trainees that we find want to engage quite a lot. We're also open to new collaborations, so we are trying to get some more training in South Africa, short courses, so that we can go and this is a bid with another Wellcome Centre, and the idea is that anybody within the African continent will be sponsored to come to that course in South Africa, just to start building new relationships. Just to add, these are the contacts that I've been working with so far, and they've been incredibly helpful, but I'm open to anybody if they have contacts or they have ideas to come and have a chat. I will be round about all the knitted things this afternoon because we came with knitted bugs, just so you could find us outside the bid. So that's us. That's the general contact details for us, but you can find Ali or I either this afternoon, or if you've got questions later on, you can find us there.
Thank you.